Odisha, January 29, 2026. The winter air is charged with protest. Highways and markets are filled with thousands of farmers demanding justice, not charity. Their frustration is the result of years of broken promises and a failing system. Once proud, their fields now symbolize debt and despair. The Navnirman Krushak Sangathan, or NNKS, leads this movement, a coalition of farmer unions from across the state. They organize rallies, block roads, and call for shutdowns, amplifying the collective anger of Odisha's farmers. Their message: the government's paddy procurement system is broken, inefficient, unfair, and deepening their poverty. Men and women, young and old, have left their farms to protest, holding banners that speak of betrayal and survival. They wait weeks, sometimes months, to sell their rice, facing indifferent officials and predatory middlemen. For them, this isn't policy debate. It's about survival. The protests are a desperate attempt to make the government listen and recognize the human cost of failed agricultural policy. The farmers' demands are simple: a fair price, a working procurement system, and dignity. They want the minimum support price to be real, not just a number on paper. They want mandis to function properly, without arbitrary deductions or endless delays. This is a fight for the soul of Odisha's agriculture and the future of its farmers. The stakes are high, and the voices on the ground are growing louder. The government's response will shape not just the fate of these farmers, but the future of the state's rural economy. As the protests swell, the world is finally forced to pay attention. The farmers' struggle is no longer invisible. Their fight is for justice, for survival, and for the right to be heard. This is Odisha's moment of reckoning. The story begins here. To understand these protests, we need to understand paddy procurement. Paddy, unhusked rice, is Odisha's main crop, and its sale is the financial lifeline for millions of farming families. The government sets a minimum support price, or MSP, meant to protect farmers from market swings and exploitation. The sale of paddy pays for loans, education, healthcare, and the next season's seeds. When procurement fails, entire rural economies falter. Mandis, government-run markets, are supposed to guarantee a fair, timely sale at the MSP. In theory, this system should shield farmers from predatory middlemen and ensure food security for the state. But when the system breaks down, farmers spiral into debt, and the food supply chain is threatened. The protests are about more than income. They're about the stability of Odisha's food security and rural economy. The government's promise to be a reliable buyer is at the heart of the conflict. When that promise is broken, the consequences ripple far beyond the fields. This is why paddy procurement matters. It's about survival, for farmers and for the state. The Mandi should be a place of security, but for many, it's a source of frustration. Mandis often open late, leaving harvested paddy exposed to rain and pests. Farmers wait in long queues for days, sleeping beside their crops, losing time and money. The process is chaotic, draining, and far from the orderly system promised. Middlemen, often colluding with officials, exploit these delays. Desperate farmers sell at prices below MSP, while middlemen profit. The system, meant to protect, instead perpetuates exploitation. Government reforms have failed to fix these fundamental issues. Poor infrastructure and unresponsive officials add to the burden. For Odisha's farmers, the Mandi is a daily reminder of neglect. The promise of a fair market remains distant. The reality is a system in disarray. To streamline procurement, the government introduced a digital token system. Farmers register online for a token assigning their Mandi visit date. In theory, it should reduce waiting and bring transparency. In reality, Poor internet and low digital literacy leave many farmers struggling. Many pay private agents to navigate the system, adding costs. Tokens often arrive late or not at all, forcing farmers to store crops longer. System glitches and crashes create new uncertainties. Tech-savvy middlemen exploit the system, leaving genuine farmers behind. Instead of empowering farmers, the digital system has become another barrier. It's a top-down solution that ignores rural realities. Delays aren't the only problem. Farmers also face unfair deductions at Mandis. Officials deduct several kilos per quintal, citing quality issues, often arbitrarily. This reduces the price below the promised MSP. Meanwhile, the cost of seeds, fertilizers, diesel, and labor keeps rising. The MSP hasn't kept pace, shrinking profit margins. New fines and charges like steep penalties for minor infractions or higher utility bills add to the burden. Farmers are caught between rising costs and shrinking returns. Many take loans, hoping to repay after harvest, but system failures leave them in debt. This cycle of debt is fueling the protests. Farmers aren't just fighting for better prices, they're fighting to escape a crushing economic trap. The stakes are survival and dignity. The system must change. When all else fails, farmers turn to a statewide shutdown. On January 28th and 29th, Odisha came to a halt. Highways blocked, markets closed, cities emptied. It was a show of farmers' power, forcing the state to pay attention. While emergency services were exempt, daily wage earners and small businesses suffered. Authorities suspended internet in some areas, citing law and order. In rural Odisha, support for the ways overwhelming. In cities, opinions were mixed. The shutdown exposed the deep rural-urban divide. For farmers, temporary disruption is a small price to pay for attention to their crisis. The is a last resort, a plea for urgent action. The message, ignore us, and the state stands still. The crisis can no longer be ignored. The protests have become a political battleground. The Congress Party supports the blaming the ruling BJP for the crisis. The BJP dismisses the protests as politically motivated, touting its own pro-farmer policies. Their bonus scheme, however, excludes many genuine farmers, fueling more anger. The Biju Janata Dal, Odisha's regional party, takes a nuanced stance, thanking protesters but blaming the central government. Political parties use the protest to score points, but farmers remain wary of being used. Officials promise reforms, but structural change is slow. For farmers, political games offer little hope. They want real solutions, not empty promises. The struggle continues. Odisha's crisis is part of a nationwide agrarian struggle. Across India, farmers face rising costs, climate uncertainty, and unreliable markets. The demand for a legally guaranteed MSP is central everywhere. Without it, farmers are forced to sell at throwaway prices when mandis fail. Digital procurement systems plagued by glitches are a national problem. Middlemen and corruption persist across states. Farmer unions from other regions see Odisha's fight as their own. The roots of the crisis are national, linked to policy, economics, and neglect. Odisha's farmers are on the front lines of a battle for Indian agriculture's future. Their struggle is India's struggle. Odisha stands at a crossroads. Real reforms could create a fair, sustainable agricultural system. That means fixing mandis, ensuring timely MSP payments, and investing in rural infrastructure. If ignored, the crisis will deepen. More farmers will abandon agriculture, and food security will suffer. The social fabric of rural communities is at risk. For farmers, everything is at stake: livelihood, land, dignity, and their children's future. They want respect, fair compensation, and a reliable government partner. The outcome will decide if farming remains viable in Odisha. This is not just a farmer's issue. It affects every citizen. The food on our plates comes from these fields. A healthy farming community is the foundation of a healthy nation. The protests are a warning. The foundation is cracking. The future is being written now, in Odisha's fields and on its roads.